All right, my friends. So we have had some practice with Solidity, Ethereum, and how React can be utilized as well. We have still missed an important point, which is how to build interesting and compelling applications with Ethereum that we cannot build with traditional technology such as a server and database. So I'm going to start a brand new project. The goal here is to show you an interesting problem that can be solved quite elegantly by using blockchain technology. You will understand why Ethereum is important and why smart contracts are important. So let's get started. I'm going to talk about a company that has been around for a while, but they always run into one problem consistently year after year. Let's talk about the startup and what the problem is and how we can apply Ethereum and smart contract technology to solve this problem. So the company that I'm referring to is Kickstarter. Okay, now I've used Kickstarter to try to fund businesses in the past, unsuccessfully, I may add. And there is a tremendous number of resources online about what Kickstarter is and how it works, in case you don't know. So I do consider myself an inventor of sorts, an entrepreneur of sorts, but in order to come up with a product, it costs money. Money for employees, materials, manufacturing, etc. The idea of Kickstarter is to help you raise that money to build some initial prototype of your product. So you go to Kickstarter as a product owner and create a new project or campaign. And you can see a list of some products that already exist on this platform on the right-hand side here. Okay, so you build, let's say this is your company here, right? And you build this Wind Halo home purifier, air purifier, and then you ask random people on the internet for some money, and in exchange, at some point in the future, you give the donors some reward. For example, if you donate, let's see, where's the donations? Here it is. So if you pledge $89 or more, you'll get the smartest air quality monitor for your home, which retails for $139. So I guess that's a good deal, right? So the thing about Kickstarter is that the campaign owner only gets money if he or she meets a minimum goal. So in this case, the minimum goal looks like it was $50,000. But at this point, they have obviously collected far in excess of that amount. And once a campaign succeeds, Kickstarter takes all this donated money and sends it directly to the person who created this campaign. It's then up to the campaign creator to take that money, build a product, and then send that product to all the people who have donated to the campaign. Sounds good, right? So where do things go wrong? Well, the problem is that some people who create campaigns are a little bit malicious. So it's up to the campaign creator to take the money and actually spend it to further their project and get a product that can be sent to their donators. But in reality, many of these products end up failing. So they will meet their funding goal, but it turns out they have no ability to actually efficiently manage the production of a product or creating the product, and they run out of money and eventually turn to their backers and say, sorry, we ran out of money. We actually can't give you the product we promised. So all the backers lose their money completely and get nothing in return. On the other hand, there are people who are completely malicious and they raise money with no intent of ever making use of the money to build a product. And that kind of, me personally, kind of makes me angry because not people that are scammers, but the fact that I've actually had good, solid campaigns on here, funding some small businesses that were already running. They no longer exist because of lack of funding, but the business was already had some initial seed money from the business owners, and I was trying to help them along via Kickstarter to to get their business to the point where it could be self-sufficient and would continue to exist. They no longer exist. These couple of businesses that I attempted to start with Kickstarter and other crowdfunding campaigns. Yet, if you go to Google and you do a search here, not there, do a search here for Kickstarter scams, scams, you see It auto-populates with Kickstarter scams Reddit, Kickstarter scams 2018, Kickstarter scams refund, Kickstarter scams games, Kickstarter scams 2017. And I believe that there's one for every year, actually. This is just this year's and last year's. But they can go back 2016, 2015. Every year, there's a scam. And if I just hit enter, one of the things you see, the 5 biggest Kickstarter and Indiegogo failures. Indiegogo is another one that I've utilized. Crowdfunding tips to avoid scams and fails on Kickstarter. These Kickstarter scammers took the money and ran. So, this is a repetitive problem that happens quite a bit on the platform. So Kickstarter exists, and sometimes when people collect the money, they don't actually deliver. And again, it makes me angry, not just because of the scamming, but because I tried all these different platforms. These small businesses were already running the rewards that the donors would have gotten were rewards that were easy to deliver on, but it's kind of, sometimes I wonder if some of the people that have been scammed kind of, if they kind of asked for it in a way. I mean, sounds mean to say, but it's kind of like their eyes, it's like when you go somewhere and you buy a piece of pie and it's like, oh, your eyes are hungrier than your actual stomach. It's like, oh yeah, this is it. I'm going to spend money on this one because this is huge. But no one ever stops to think, maybe it's so huge because it's a scam, or even if it isn't, maybe the product owner, how do you know that this product owner has a history, a background that they can even utilize that money that they're going to get wisely? There was a case of someone who invented a cooler to go to the beach, and also the cooler had like a radio or some kind of thing where they could listen, a device built into the cooler where they could listen to music with the cooler. And the person got the money. They were a success in terms of getting the money. I remember colleagues of mine talking about this campaign, about this product. The part that my colleagues failed to mention, or I guess they didn't know about it, didn't care to follow it through to its completion, is that the product was a failure, not because of they failed to deliver because of scams, but because the radio device that was built into the cooler kept melting the ice. And at the end of the day, what's the main reason to buy a cooler? Is to keep things cool when you go to the beach or go camping or whatever, right? So nevertheless, what we're going to do in a subsequent video is we're going to learn how to use an Ethereum contract to somewhat solve the issue that Kickstarter and other crowdfunding platforms run into year after year. So stay tuned.